The prophecy of the Happy and the end of the fourth world. Predictions about what will happen to the Happy. It's not just about their destiny, it's about events that will happen in the future. On a global scale, these prophecies have started to become famous before the mid-20th century. The Hopi was a mass of clans gathered at the center of Tuonasavi in the northern part of Arizona on their migration journey, because they're not a unified tribe. So the origin of their prophecies is quite fragmentary and diversity. Their personality is also part of the reason for narrative ability. There are some limitations. Isolated farmers who are less migratory. They usually live in simple, rustic homes. It's called Pueblo. They're stone buildings in the desert. Highland areas in the southwest of the United States. The hobbyist sees the future from within. The hidden collective prayer rooms deep below the ground. And I've seen some very scary scenes. Many of them don't want to share these scenes for the outside world. Looking back on history, exploitation and genocide of Native Americans, it's not hard to understand why they behave this way. Just like the Mayans, I used to live with Hopi and exchange goods with each other. Hopi people believe we've had 3 disasters before. It's global. The first world was destroyed by fire. It's about colliding with a comet or a small planet, or some volcanic eruptions. The second world was destroyed by ice, a long ice age. As noted by so many civilizations on Earth, a great flood that destroyed. The third world, 3 times of destruction. It's of this global nature. It's not just the result of changes, random on Earth, or astrophysical phenomena. It's the result of work humanity has, ignoring Mother Earth and the spiritual requirements. In other words, disaster events in the natural world. There's a cause and effect connection with violations of ethical principles or improper human behavior for a long time. It's different from the Mayans. Hopi people rarely share specific dates. There's going to be this chronological transition. It's often said that the Maya I used to be a time expert, while the Hopi is a space expert. The Maid, it's no longer the same 394-year cycle that it used to be. They used the Kim calendar with 260 days. It's a very complicated calendar system. Resides mainly on the A-flat peaks. The Hopi continued to conduct a series annual ceremonies in the ritual circle to keep the balance for not just themselves, but also for the whole world. A world in danger. As time goes by, their task is becoming more and more difficult. When our modern way of life, with its machine learning technologies and its powerful is relentlessly eroding the wolf traditional way of life and the values of Hopi ancestors. Fewer and fewer Hopi young people learn native languages, their customs and rituals. More and more young leaving the land of the Hopi to find a job in the city area. Those who remain, they are facing internal conflicts, and worse, with the rate increasing. Alcoholism status and deadly drugs on the street. Tragic signs of the end of the world. Native Americans can be seen all over the place. Many of the spiritual elders of the Hopi declared that we are living in the last days of the fourth world. Over the past 65 years, different Hopis have made different predictions about the changes on Earth. It signals the end of the current era and the beginning of the fifth world. 1970, Jeongseanva Sun tribe leader from Hotvia village, who died at the age of 112, mentioned a degenerative condition in our time now. He said, "We've been transferred back to the teachings and the warned us that you need to be careful of signs and signals. It will happen in the future. It helps us to try. The strength and courage to keep your faith. Blood will be shed. Our hair and clothes will be scattered on earth. Natural will speak to us with the great breath of the wind. There will be earthquakes and floods create terrible natural disasters, weather changes and for seasons of the year, the disappearance of wild nature and hunger in many different forms. There will be a gradual decline in leaders and people around the world, and the war will come like a whirlwind. All of this has been planned from the beginning. Signs that the fourth world is coming to an end. Some predicted many of the Hopi elders. It was revealed in the last century that the fourth world is coming to an end. This includes some climate conditions. There's more and more volatility, and some concrete signs of political unrest and society. The changes are predicted to happen on Earth, including earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, 6th century floods, wildfires, drought and famine. The obsession with the epidemic is constant in people's minds. The Hopi. It also predicts some changes in technology, signaling the end of it. The fourth generation of hobbyist elders said that a squash for ashes will fall to the earth. Of course, this must have alluded to nuclear explosions. The predictions of the Hopi say that people will ride cars, no horses pulling on the black ice solos. It's about the vehicles on the asphalt. Flying vehicles will travel on the sky's roads. Hopi also claims that one of the last signs, people will live in heaven. That's a reference to the International Space Station. The elders who Hopi. It also predicts a lot about social upheavals. They say that the Hopi delegates will come to Mika's house for different times. This refers to Mika as the headquarters building of the United Nations. But every time their pleas for peace will be ignored. Civilization is somewhat closed. On the social side of the Hopi, also believe that a sign of the end of the fourth world. It's when women start wearing men's clothes. This is the women's liberation movement in the late 1960s. We have to remember that the predictions of hobbies are not contemporary commentators about events in the world. It's statements that have been made for hundreds of years, or maybe thousands of years ago. The scary predictions about the current state of events around the world has simply been passed down through the generations to this day, through the word of mouth of the Hopi. And there's very little augmentation in the process. 9 signs in the prophecy of the white-feathered elders. The fourth world is coming to an end. David Young, a pastor, said that in the summer of 1958, while driving through the Ford Corner area in the US, he came across a Hopi elder. It's called White Feather. The priest gave this man a ride, and then they talked to each other. The spiritual elder of this clan shared about them. All your sons are gone, and that the Hopi rituals are dying out. After realizing that Pastor Young was a trustworthy man, he decided to turn back the 9 signs, the key of Hopi, that when these 9 signs appear it will signal the end of the fourth world. The white-feathered elder said, the appearance of these 9 signs is a sign that the fourth world is coming to an end. He said that his ancestors predict the appearance of all these events long before they happened. The 9 signs are: a white man will own this land. Carrying with me thunder sticks that thunder like lightning. This is a reference to rifles and 6.1 guns. 2. The wheels spin with sound coming out of them. Here are the chariot wheels or the car wheels, or phonograph and CD player. 3 large strange-shaped monsters will appear. Even though it looks like a buffalo, but they have long horns. Here are the types of cattle. 4 iron snakes will run through the area. Here's the train tracks. 5 giant spider webs that will teeth across the region. This is the telephone, telegraph, power lines, and now the internet. 6 stone rivers that create seams under the sun will flow through the land of the Hopi. Here are the concrete highways in the desert, creating illusions. Lake water. 7 oceans will turn black, and all the living things in it will die. Here's the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico in the summer. 2000 not 110. 8 young people with long hair go into Hopi land to learn the ways of the natives. This is the hippie movement. In the late 60s and early 70s of the last century, 9 places in heaven will fall to earth. It's created a great blue star. Star Blue Kachina will take off its mask at home, the village in a dance, Holy Kachina. Then all the Hopi people's rituals. It will completely end. Here Kachina is also spelled Kasnem. It refers to the spirit messengers between the world of humans and the world of gods. They're like the angels in Christianity. You can probably mention them here. Stasis from other star systems to Earth to help people live a better life and escape from birth and death, or help people prepare for the new age. According to the elder, all of these markers aren't necessarily sorted in chronological order, but the final sign will surely end it all. It could be the end of the fourth world. It's also our time now. Part 2 will be a letter from the hobbyist to humanity. See you in the next section. Hello and see you later.